Life is hectic.
Some days are just a blur.
We're Jay and Laura LaFoon, and we help busy couples stay married for life.
Welcome to the Married for Life podcast.
Well, we are super excited. At least I am.
Yeah, because you don't have to work.
That's right. We're excited because this weekend we are heading up to Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island for Memories on Mackinac. It's this mother-daughter, multi-generational. It's really cool. We see grandmas bring moms, bring daughters, bring granddaughters. It's just super cool. I love it because all I have to do is sit in the back and watch for the whole time.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to just push the sound button
That's
or whatever
right.
you do, adjust the sound stuff.
Yeah, I'm the audio technician. That's a hard job.
Audio technician.
And I'm going to be running Pro Presenter too. There's a lot of pressure now.
For those of you, we do talk a lot here about our events, and just so you know, if you're ever interested in attending one of our events, whether it's a Celebrate Your Marriage conference or a date night, or Memories on Mackinac with your daughter or mother or aunt or sister, you can check all that out on our website at jayandlaura.com. We'd love to have you show up at an event and tell us you heard about it on a podcast.
Well, we're super excited this year because it's record-breaking numbers. We're at almost 200 women, continue to grow. Leanne Morgan is going to be the comedian. And if you have never heard Leanne, you need to hear her. She is
Look her up
stinking hilarious.
Dry Bar Comedy, I think.
And probably the hotel's sold out, so you probably can't join us this year, but make plans to join us next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, shout out from a listener. This is, again, answering our greatest struggle question that we always send out to listeners. What is the greatest struggle in your marriage? This one's pretty short, brief, and to the point. We are both set in our ways. I don't know why I found that amusing. I guess because it is short and to the point, and we're both set in our ways.
Okay, so that's every marriage.
Exactly.
That's every marriage.
Every marriage involves compromise. You have to compromise. You have to...
Now, I'm going to read into this one a little bit. Okay. So just imagine that you and I were our age we are now, and we just got married for the first time.
That would be difficult.
Or we had been married before and had gotten used to a certain way of doing things and got married now.
Yeah.
Now, that would be very hard to blend. So that let's take it from that context, because maybe that's the way it is that, I've established a lifestyle, and this is how I operate.
And now you're going to come into my lifestyle. You're going to go my way.
Right.
I'm not going your way. You're going my way.
Right. Yeah, I was 21 or 22 when I realized that. I'm going her way. So
that is so not true. Again, for those of you who know us,
I'm a type A driven firstborn, yes. And so we've gone my way for most of marriage.
But
and
compromise
now she's changing on me. I can vividly remember where
I got bossy all of a sudden.
Yeah, we were in a hotel room, and she was telling me what to do. And normally I'm the one telling her what to do. And I simply said, listen, there's only room for one J in this relationship. But yeah, compromise. When you're stuck in your ways, you got to realize that you're blending two lives. Whether you're young or whether you're old, you are becoming one. And that's really the gist of it.
Well, today's subject on the podcast is intimacy.
Woohoo!
And not like physical. I mean, yes, physical intimacy. But years ago, Jay and I kind of did a lot of research. We did some research on intimacy and as it pertains to marriage and relationships. And we really discovered that we believe that there are 5 areas a couple needs to be intimate.
5.
5.
Not just one?
One being physical.
Okay.
But social, mental, emotional, and spiritual. We need to be intimate in all of those areas. So today we thought we would just
20% of the time we should be having physical intimacy.
No. It's not like break it down. 20% you got to be social, 20% no. These are just 5 areas you need to be intimate. I wanted to. So we just thought today we'd give you a brief overview of what those look like, and then we'll dive into those in the weeks to come. But so social intimacy. Some of you may be going, "What the heck is social intimacy? And what does that mean?" Well, you kind of think back when you were dating, maybe even before you started dating, you were friends with each other, and then you were dating and you're friends with each other.
Well, a lot of people say that they marry their best friend, and I truly believe that that's been the case for us, even though we didn't know each other that well when we got married. We knew we wanted to be best friends.
Yeah.
And so that's what social intimacy is keeping that friendship alive.
Or recapturing it.
Right. Because let's be honest, I love Laura all the time. there's times I don't like her, and vice versa. So the social intimacy is keeping the
Lots of times.
is keeping the like alive. So that's a brief overview of social intimacy. Next, we have mental intimacy, and this is the one that is hard to wrap your head around. But guess what? You're different, as we discovered with our shout out. And
this is really just understanding that you are gifted differently. You both learn differently. You take in information differently. I mean, I'm a processor. Jay always, he's learned.
I finally learned.
He's finally learned. He can't just say, hey, think about this. And then 5 minutes later, he wants an answer. I'm like, no, I need to process. So if you need me to process something, you need to give me, here's your deadline on Wednesday. Then you need to let me know about it like the Friday before and say, here's something I need you to process.
Right.
Because we take in information differently.
Which is very different from me, which I'm a natural decision maker. I can process things quickly and boom, 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 boom. It's a yes or a no. Sometimes that gets me in trouble for saying yes too soon or no too soon. But most of the time it works out. But I love now that we're, 30 plus years into marriage where I know what I think in my head, but I don't tell Laura, and I ask her to process it. And then when we come to the same conclusion, it really, really solidifies our relationship and that decision as being positive.
And in the coming weeks, we're going to talk more about each of these areas of intimacy. And mental intimacy, we will be talking about how we learn and how we process information. That's one of my favorite. I love looking at all that information because it's really fun. So back at looking at an overview.
The third type of intimacy.
Ways that we need to be intimate.
And this is the one that makes most men groan.
That's because you're not understanding what it is.
It's emotional intimacy.
And it's not about being emotional. It's about the fact that we are both emotional beings. And you're going to be emotional different. And funny that you make fun of it because you're the most emotional one in this relationship.
You're right, but for a man, when he hears emotional intimacy, he's thinking, "Oh, getting in touch with your feelings and ooey gooey." No.
And again, you're more of the girl in this relationship.
But I'm not. But I'm not that way. I am not ooey gooey. You got to believe that. Well, maybe my belly's
cheesy.
I'm cheesy. That's
you're
right.
Not ooey gooey.
So emotional is how we express our emotions differently.
Probably one of you is more of a even-keeled person, and one of you's a more
dramatic,
up-down dramatic. I'll let you guys figure out which one that is here in this relationship, and then we'll let you know when the week we actually talk about it.
We've got a friend, he won't mind me saying his name, Dave Fitzgerald. We call him Fitz. He lives in Tampa, and we're good friends. And he and I are like brothers from another mother. We're pretty similar, and his wife describes him as extra. Mm-hmm. Fitz is just a little extra.
Yes. You two are extra twins. So then you have physical intimacy, which obviously every marriage needs to have physical intimacy. Even if you're 70 years old and you can't do... Stop it! Golly, you just say physical intimacy. Gee whiz. But that physical intimacy doesn't always mean sexual intercourse. It can just be the holding of hands, the arm around the shoulder. The
sex.
It can mean that, but I'm talking about we're not there yet. But there may come a time when we get older where that's not possible.
Just kill me. Just put me out of my misery then.
Okay, so we've talked about social intimacy, recapturing that friendship, mental intimacy, how we process information, how we learn, and how we're uniquely gifted, emotional intimacy, how we explain our emotions, how we express our emotions, physical intimacy, obviously physical intimacy, but other ways that you can be physically intimate, and then spiritual intimacy. And this isn't the fact that you go to church together or that you both read your Bible or that you pray together. This is both of you.
All of those things are very good things.
Yes,
don't get
absolutely.
us wrong. But just because you go to church together and you sit in the pew together and hear the sermon doesn't make you spiritually intimate.
Right. It's that you're both striving to become more like Jesus and realizing that your relationship with Jesus Christ is the best thing you can do for your marriage.
And that's the hardest.
Build that relationship.
Right. That's the hardest one to quantify. Because we go through seasons when it comes to our spiritual life. Mm-hmm. And don't beat yourself up if you're in a season right now where you're not doing real well
if you
spiritually.
got 4 kids under the age of 5 and
right.
you don't have time to sit and read your Bible for an hour every day. Well, That's okay.
Well, those are the 5 areas of intimacy that we will be diving into taking a deep dive here over the next few weeks, and look forward to really talking about those types of intimacy, helping you grow those types of intimacy in your marriage, because what we're all about is helping busy couples stay happily married for life. So if you would, please rate us on whatever platform you are listening to us on, and pass this podcast on to friends and family. We'd like to see us continue to grow. We're very excited by the growth we're seeing, and we would really appreciate you to do those two things. Rate us and share us, and again, we'll come back next week and help busy couples stay happily married for life.